coordinator of umpires. In other words, I am your boss. You can call me David, you can call me Mr. Cohn, you can call me boss, I don't care. This is Paul Sutter. He is the new president of the league. Let's give him a round of applause. Come on, let's take it on a big breath.
I just wanted to say thank you all for coming out this morning. You're an integral part of the league. That's really it. I'll turn it back over to David.
All right, we got a lot to go through, so I'm going to zip through a bunch of stuff that you guys need to know before we do the actual training. We have some very experienced, fine umpires here: Joe Carpenzano, Jeff Jacob, Matt Muller over there, one of our more experienced umps who many of you will be working with. John Brown, a Little League board member who has also got great experience as an umpire. So know who they are, learn from them. April 1st is the start of the season as scheduled. We're not sure that's going to be a full. As more bad weather comes in, the fields may or may not be ready. You guys have to assume you're ready to work on Monday, April 1st. We'll get to scheduling in just a second. There are games every day, 7 days a week once the season starts. I need to know your availability. You guys put things in when you're registered. In some cases, maybe it's your parents put it in when you registered. As we approach the season, I need to know in general what days of the week you guys can work, and then specifically, if you know you're going away a certain weekend, if you know you have a cousin's wedding, those are the things you just tell me, and I will try. I sometimes make mistakes. I'll try not to schedule you on those days. This is flexible, but I need to know. So again, how many kids here are baseball players? We're playing for a school team. A lot of you. You guys at best can only work Saturdays and Sundays. If you think you can work after practice on a weekday, you can't. So I need to know that. And again, I spend a lot of my time trying to work around your schedule, but I can't do that effectively if I don't know your schedule. So again, update me, just email me at the umpire's email if anything in your registration needs to be changed or updated. Given all that of you baseball players, the most important thing are weekdays. That's where I have trouble filling. So anybody who can work weekdays, you're going to make a lot of money. You're going to work a lot. Again, just let me know which days you work, and I assure you I'll find you a lot of work. I post the schedule about 10 days before that week of games, before the Monday. So sometimes it drags a couple days, but I put that out there. I will send you by email. I will send you that link. You must read it immediately. If you can't make it, you need to let me know immediately. Take a look. There's a search function. I didn't even know about this. On the spreadsheet, there's a search function. I'll explain in the email once this is ready. You can search for your name. Your name may come up multiple times. I may have made a mistake again. You told me you can't work on April 23rd. I may have put you in. Search for your name. Even if you told me, look for it. If you can make it, great. If you can't make it, you gotta let me know. Then I send, and you guys know, I send out emails about what's open. And I look for everybody's help and cooperation as much as you can. That we try to have 2 umps for every game. Last year we had a fair amount with one ump. But the fact is, when you see me emailing, if you can take on another slot, I really appreciate it. First timers, you make $35 a game. After that, for the rest of your high school years, you make $40. You get paid in the next month. You'll get paid for April, in early May, in early June for May, etc. As soon as you get checks, look at it, make sure it's right, cash it. Some people put it aside, they forget about it, the checks then go bad, so please cash your checks quickly. If any of you are returning umpires and you've moved since last year, you gotta let me know. Even if you registered under your new address, please let me know you have a new address, because the system will think you're at the old address and send your checks there. So anybody who has moved, please let me know. So that's some of the housekeeping. Most importantly, this is a job. This is not a volunteer activity. You guys are getting paid. I have the expectations, whether we are running a store, a restaurant, anything, this is a job. You have to be on time, and on time means 15 minutes before a game starts. Games start on the weekdays, 5:30, on the weekends at all times throughout the day. You need to be there between at least 15 minutes in advance for it to be considered on time. And I'll get to what the repercussions of not doing that in a minute. You can work softball only. You cannot work baseball only. If you registered and said you weren't working softball, sorry, that's wrong. If you want to work baseball, I'm going to put you in softball games. We have equal need on both sides. You can tell me, or if you haven't already done so in registration, that you only want to work softball. As I said, the Umpire business is run by email. I know most of you guys don't communicate by email anymore. I do. I have to. It's the only way I can keep track of everything in one place, to be able to let everybody know immediately, to get your responses, know where they are. It's just still much more effective for me to organize things on email. So if you don't use it, sorry, you're going to use it now. You've got to check it. Not checking your email is not an excuse for not knowing what happened. If you want someone else, a mom or dad, to also get the emails, let me know. If some of them are already on there and getting the emails and they don't want to be, when they see that I send out dozens of emails a week, you tell me and I'll take them off. But again, it's up to you guys how you want to coordinate that and how you want to be informed. I will send you my cell phone number just before the season. Don't use it. It is only meant to be used on game day. Any other communication has to be on email. You can't make a game, you want to change, you want to switch, etc., etc. Do not text me. That is only for the day of the game. As soon as we get to that game day, then you can text me, and I may text you to tell you games have changed, or can you work another game, whatever happens. Day of happens on text, everything else on email. Once you're at a game, speaking of cell phones, no cell phones. Keep them in your bag, deep in your pocket. I do not want to see. I will hear from coaches if you're checking, and that means even between innings. Do not check. You're meant to be there for your job. You're meant to focus on the job. Do not check in between innings or at any time when you're on the field. You have to wear your uniform. We'll give those out later in the month. I'll talk about that in a second. That's your cap. That's your shirt. No shorts. The kids aren't allowed to wear shorts. I don't care if it's 90 degrees. You can't wear shorts. The kids can't wear shorts. You can't wear shorts. So again, do not wear shorts to a game. Again, on the attendance, I've got to get through this quickly. You must let me know if you can't make a game 24 hours in advance of the game. If you don't, that's considered a strike. And again, I'll talk about that in a second. We changed the policy last year. Now it's 3 strikes, you're out. First time you don't make a game or let me know too late with no excuse, that's a warning. Second time you get docked a game's pay. Third time, you're fired. So again, 24 hours, let me know. If within 24 hours something comes up that you can't make it, the onus is on you to find somebody else to do it. Look at the schedule, talk to your friends, see if someone can fill in. If they can, you have to let me know. I have to approve it. It's not considered an official switch until I approve it. But again, that's your only option. If you need to change something late, find yourself a replacement. All of these policies I'm going to send you via email. All right, hitting the home stretch. You guys have to be able to work. You have to pass the test. The test will be sent out this week. The test is 34 questions. Most of it is about our local rules, which will be posted on the site by the time I send it. The test is, unlike your school test, the test is open book. The test is meant to do 2 things. One, it's to emphasize the most common occurrences and the things we think you most need to know about, number 1. And number 2, to make you read the rules. Everything in there, everything in the test is in the rules. It was shocking to me last year. I took of what questions people got wrong. Over half the people got three questions wrong because you needed to check. And I did this last year intentionally. Unfortunately, I made it a little harder, where things like how many runs is the maximum in softball in these different divisions. You have to check every division. If you checked one division and assumed it was right for all divisions, it doesn't work. So 3 questions that were most answered incorrectly were because people didn't check throughout the rules. That's why it's there. Read the rules. 6 of the rules, and I'm going to help you guys this year on the other hand. 6 of the rules pertain to national rules. Everything else is in the local baseball or softball rules. I will highlight those ones that are national. We're going to give you, as you leave today, softball and baseball rule books. They're essentially the same for both baseball and softball. I'll tell you which ones those are. You got to do it. There's some basic stuff that you need to know. You do not need to memorize the entire rule book, but again, for those questions, you're going to have to check the rule book to get the correct answer. There are differences between divisions. So from green to blue to majors, from softball to baseball, we've made some changes this year to try to make them as consistent as possible. So some things that may have been different in the past are now the same. But again, you got to check the rules. And my easy suggestion, again, this is for anything, a life lesson to be prepared for your job. When you see where you're scheduled, this week I'm scheduled for softball green, next week for baseball blue. Take 5 minutes and look at the specific rules to that division so you know. It'll tell you time limits. It'll tell you things like back to pitcher rules for green and things like that. Just check. That's the way to be prepared. You guys are here. I'm sure you want to make the right call. Check the rules at least for the first half of the season before you go in so you know what's going on. Weather. I will let you know in advance if games are scheduled. Again, read emails about mass scheduling in the hours before, hopefully the day before. There may be some late cancellations. We've actually changed one policy. If you guys get to the normally it was you guys get to the field, you get paid. That's still true, but we have 30 minutes before the game to cancel, and you won't get paid. So around 5:15 on a weekday or before, check your email to see if we've canceled. If we haven't, if the weather's bad, check to see if it's canceled. But again, don't stay at home thinking it's going to be canceled. No news means get to the field. Once you get to the field, it's your responsibility to make the game happen or not. We want games to be played, so in most cases, play the game. But if you think it's a dangerous situation, if it's mud all around the field and kids are going to slip and hurt themselves, you call the game. That's not in consultation with the coaches. That's not calling me. It's your responsibility at the field to call the game. We'll send out lightning and thunder. Again, safety is the most important thing here. We'll send out the lightning and thunder policies. You guys should read that. Last but not least, and these guys will talk about it a little bit, 2 things. Discipline. For many of you, this is going to be the first time you're dealing with adults in a supervisory fashion. That's part of the job. We want you guys to make calls, feel good about your calls. I guarantee coaches are not going to like the calls. Players are not going to like the calls. You made the call, you stick with the call. The league will back you up. If we find out you made a wrong call, we'll talk to you about it and we'll tell you because we want you to learn to get better. But at the end of the day, everybody blows a call. Even Jeff Jacobs once. I've been in the last 10 years. I've seen him blow a call. It's going to happen. These guys are going to talk to you about making a definitive call and then stick with the call. All right. And again, you have to tell coaches, hear them out. If they want to complain, give them 30 seconds to say their piece. You don't have to respond. Get the game going. A big part of your job is to keep the game going, to make the game happen on time, and to keep it going, to keep breaks in between innings short, to keep everything. So guys who complain, at some point, you just say, Coach, that's enough. And if they won't relent, you have the opportunity to throw them out. If that ever happens, and I don't think that happened at all last year, you gotta let me know. Because again, we don't take kindly. We will back you up. Coaches are meant to behave. We will have the same conversation with the coaches. If you need to tell them to stop, stop. If they don't, let me know after, and we'll have a word with them. Same thing goes for players, and we hope the coaches are going to help you with their players and parents. If you hear parents say things you don't want to hear, try not to have, as these guys say, rabbit ears. Ignore most of it, but if it gets disruptive, if a parent gets disruptive or a player gets disruptive, go to the coach. You can say something, but go to the coach and tell them again. The coaches are responsible for the behavior of the parents of their team. One other thing, I'm sorry I missed on safety, concussions. You guys got to look out for stuff. I'm going to send you a one sheet about how to look for it. If you guys think that something happened in a game and you see the symptoms, dizziness, vomiting, nausea, anything, or we err on the side of caution. Even if the coach says they're okay, if you think there's an issue here, you have the right to ask the kid to sit out. All right, now I'm done. I'm going to send it over to these guys. Upcoming, 2 more trainings. First time umps only on the 17th at 11 a.m. at Homix. We have our Positive Coaching Alliance training. It tells you how to deal with some of these difficult situations. It is mandatory. If you can't make it, you have to let me know and I'll make other arrangements. But everybody, all of us have done it. All coaches go through it. You guys have to be there if you're first time up on the 17th. And then the last one is on the 24th is our last training. We will be at Flint B if the weather's okay. If it's not, we'll be in the Homix gym. We'll do more training with these guys. To do it, right after that, you guys get your equipment at the Flint B shed. So again, important to be there on the 24th. For the first timers on the 17th. Before I turn, any questions about process, organization, anything? All right, I'm gonna turn it over to Joe and